Hi everyone, my name is Georgette Truan. I am the co-host for Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G, and I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. And we have our guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my lady.
My name is Jennifer Potter.
Jennifer, you're going to share your story with us today, am I right?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, go ahead and let us know what's going on in the CPS world, baby.
Yes, ma'am. But before I start, Miss Georgia, I want to just say thank you for just giving me the opportunity of being here today because of a lot of us do not get to tell our stories. This is the
No.
only way we can tell our story. And lastly, I would like to just say, I want to say this. I want to let my kids know, I want y'all to know that I love y'all. And I always have, always will. I never stop loving y'all. I didn't leave or abandon y'all. I did fight for y'all. I just didn't win the fight. I didn't
Mhm.
even stand a chance on winning the fight. I lost the fight before it even started. And for that, I would like to tell y'all that I'm sorry. It really is so deep. Because it's like they have our kids going against us. Y'all
Mhm.
deprive me of, y'all basically deprive me of everything that I know. My kids was my family. That
Mhm.
was my only family. I didn't have no family moving to Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's like they didn't care. And it was like you took the only thing that I had.
Mhm.
The reasons for mine being taken at the time is because I was in a homeless shelter. My grandma was my biggest support. That was the only support I had. But before she passed away, once she passed away, it was like my whole world went topsy turvy. I took that death really hard. So I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. I felt like one of the biggest mistakes of my life. And I ended up being in a homeless shelter out there with my kids. And just the things that we had to go through in that homeless shelter, along with that being my first encounter with CPS, it is very hard. It's very devastating. It's unforgivable and it's not forgettable. And it's like I have to explain to people every day, I will never be the same. We can never be the same
Nope. You
with
cannot.
things like that happen. You can't. And they just expect us to just move on with our lives like they never snatched the only thing that some of us have away. I had three social workers in my case. And from what I was told, again, mine was taken because I was homeless, basically because I was stupid. I was untaught, uneducated. I wasn't smart enough to raise my own kids. Basically, pretty much because I was incompetent. And
Who
because I was
told you
giving
that?
birth,
Who told you
the
that?
social worker, the social worker,
Mhm.
and because I was giving birth to one. And that was another reason because I was giving birth to one and I didn't have no one else there to watch. And that's why I support, even though I be on the back burner, supporting all the people that have been in this situation or has been or going through now, such as myself. We are victims. But for a very long time, I was getting told that I wasn't a victim at all. And for the ones that actually have the support, great, because I don't understand why if y'all have the support, it is so hard for them to let y'all kids go with another family member, go with somebody that is capable of taking care of them. I didn't have that. When I came to Raleigh, I didn't have no family. I have none. My kids was my family. A lot of us don't have that. I didn't have nobody that I could look back on, and if I did give a number, it's not like they was gonna use it. I've been going through this for a long time, and nobody can ever understand the feeling of your kids being taken away. You actually have to be put in our shoes and actually to understand and to know. It's over the top. It's really over the top.
Wow.
I
How many kids? How many kids?
I lost four kids to the system. Now, mind you, Georgia, I had my first child. I had my first son when I was 17. I was a baby myself, and that's what I had to explain. If I was gonna give up my kid, I would have gave my first son up when he was 17. Why would I wait till I have my fourth to give him up? It doesn't make sense. Y'all being weird to me. It's not making sense. And I didn't get it for a long time because, like I said, it's a lot of things that's in that case that probably shouldn't have been done. And when I talk to people like you, or I talk to other people, or just doing my research over the years, I would tell a lot of y'all parents, if y'all have not did research or looked up Nancy Schaefer, trust me, she's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
She's the truth. She described my whole case to me in one video. everything pretty much I learned from her. When I
Mhm.
say she's the truth, she's the truth.
She
Like
was
that's when
truth. She was murdered for that
she
truth.
was. She
Okay.
was exactly what I was fixing to say. That's why I believe everything that she says, because why would I believe anybody else? This lady died doing something that she loved. And y'all hated her for that.
Yep.
And it's like y'all don't want to be brought to the light. Like I'm more vocal now and I can talk now because it took me a long time to get here. Because for one, that was my first encounter with CPS.
Mhm.
I never dealt, never knew. I didn't know I had rights. I didn't know when to talk, how to talk, what to say, how
Mhm.
to say it. But I was also told by the court appointed lawyer
Mm.
to just sit back, like during court appearances
Mhm.
or anything, just
Mhm.
sit back, be quiet, don't open my mouth because if I did, I mess everything up.
Huh.
So it's like, how do you want me to fight when you're telling me this? So
Mhm.
that's what was weird for me as well.
Mhm.
And let's not to mention, we already know. Me learning everything that I know now, I know all y'all work together. The
Yep.
judge know the judge know the social worker, the social workers know the GAL,
Mm.
the my lawyer, everybody is all in cahoots.
Mhm.
Everybody works together. The reason why I say I don't feel like I stand a chance at winning, because for one, I feel I was targeted. Y'all
Yep.
targeted me because I was homeless. Y'all, I couldn't afford a lawyer.
Mhm.
And you got all these parents that I see, single mothers that was in that shelter with me as well. You have parents that live in hotels with kids. You
Mhm.
got some that's actually outside with kids. But like I said, to me, I was targeted because I was in a shelter. I didn't have no money to afford a lawyer. And it just went on from there to me. So, but to be honest, I don't even think I would have had standard a chance with a lawyer because they all work together. If you ask me,
Yep.
I mean, a court appointed lawyer is not worth the time of the day. The family lawyer is not worth the time of the day. So it's just like, how can I win against y'all? I can't.
Mhm.
And it was like, that's another thing that I never used to understand. You ask me to work the service plan that you give me, and I work it. I do
Mhm.
everything in that service plan for you, but to me, it was never good enough.
Right.
And the main thing that stood out with me in the service plan was them giving us therapy. That's what always got me, was the therapy part. Because I say this, the time that I felt like that I needed therapy the most was after y'all knew that y'all wasn't going to give my kids back.
Yep.
Why are you giving it to me while you got me fighting and turning flips to get them back? But when you know you're not going to give them back, it's like you just kicked me onto the curb and just gone about your business. That's when I was in my darkest moments the most.
Mhm.
That's because, do you not know, after they took my kids away, I had to leave that shelter. So now here I am, I'm homeless. I'm actually out on the streets and not in the shelter. I done slept in the rain. It was the summer, the snow, doing all this time because I'm such in a dark place. I haven't found my way back to where I needed to be. I'm in a very dark place. And people ask now when they see, how can you live with yourself every day? I still have my moments. But what I had to learn how to do was to control my emotions. I had to. And that's very hard to do
Mhm.
when you in a situation like us. I feel like is the only people that understand me is other parents that's going through it like me.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to explain this to another, just another regular
No,
person or another
no. It's
stranger.
gonna
I
make
wouldn't be
you
able to.
think you're the bad one. Yeah. No
Exactly.
one does you.
I wouldn't be able to explain this to them, and I just had to explain it because, to be honest, I got a friend that has a case open, been open for a year. Now it's weird to me because she still has the kids inside the home, but the case has been open for a year. Why is that case still open and you got your kids at home? I always tell her, I say, you need to go and stand in front of a judge. And then I always tell her too, because I'm like, to me, I feel like they're trying to catch you at something. And as
Yes.
long as that case open and you slip up, then they got you.
Let me tell you what they're doing with her. Okay.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
just keeping the case open until they find a suitable somebody that wants to adopt the children. And
Hmm.
then they're going to come back and say there's an anonymous report against her to take the children from her and then put the children in that foster home that wants to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Okay.
they do it. That's how they
Okay.
do it. So the sad thing about all these people judging people, women, especially women,
Mm-hmm.
having their children stolen from them, right? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
in a shelter. They need help. They're in a shelter. But what they do,
Yeah.
the system set up rules in place, right? So what they do is this. They tell you, oh, go collect cash aid and food stamps. Go collect from the state, from the county, so you can, support yourself and the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a case number. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
targeted. You have a case number.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Yes,
kids
ma'am.
does she have? She has 4 kids. She has 3 kids. She has 2 kids. How long has she been collecting from the system? So basically they already build a case. Then they go knock on your door or go to the shelter and say, oh, we received a report against you. Okay.
Yeah.
So people
Mm-hmm.
automatically think the shelter reported them, or
Mm-hmm.
this person reported them, or their sister reported them because she had a fight with her last year. Whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
people start fighting with their family members, they start fighting with their friends, and then all of the sudden is really none of that.
Right.
4 people I spoke with, they found out the truth. It wasn't any of their family members that reported them. It was the fact that they were taking food stamps and cash aid. They found them through that.
And you're exactly right. And this is why I said what I said about the shelter. This
Yep.
is why I said it. Because when you're going in, you never really pay attention to the questions that's being asked. You just don't want to be on the streets. So it's like when I went in, you have to have like this assessment. And in that assessment, they want to know, why are you here? I wouldn't be here if I had somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Another question was, well, how long have you been homeless? That's the thing that get it from me. And what okay, we was in a shelter downtown Raleigh. And
Mm-hmm.
across the street from that shelter, it was a park. I sat in that park every morning. Like I said, I had no support. I have no family. It was just me and my kids. I sat in that park every morning because I ain't really know nobody. Nowadays, you can't trust nobody. And I didn't know where to go and how to start or where to begin. You would have thought us being in the shelter, I would have got more help than that. Only reason why I sat so close and sat in the park across the street. Only reason why I sat there is because it was right across the street from the shelter, and you had to be in line by 3:30 to get in. If you wasn't in that line, you wasn't getting in. So sometimes you could still get in that line and you still wouldn't be able to get in. We had to get up every morning, mandatory, eat breakfast, and by 7 o'clock, me and my kids had to be gone. And we had to take all of our luggage with us. That's how it was for the people that was on the emergency side. We was on the emergency side. But then you got your people over here that's on the program side that they can wake up, eat breakfast, they can go upstairs and go right back to their rooms, go to sleep. I guess I'm assuming because y'all had cars, y'all had jobs, stuff like you didn't let me, y'all not letting me get there. And it's like to me, y'all didn't even want to give me a chance to get there. It was like y'all took my name down, wrote it in a black and white journal, and
Mm-hmm.
told me when my name come up next on the list, you will move me to the program side. I
Mm-hmm.
watch people come in the emergency side that I was on that ain't even been there longer than me that got moved to the program side.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was saying to myself, like, I can't believe this. Like it was like everybody was out to get me. Nobody was
Instead
trying to.
of helping you find housing, low income housing,
Exactly.
and put
Yeah,
you in
exactly.
that road, they actually take your kids from you. And just because you're homeless, it doesn't mean that you're a bad mom. Okay.
Exactly.
When you take children, you're not taking them, you're stealing them. You're literally
Yeah.
stealing kids from their family. Now, if you tell them you have family in Zimbabwe, for example,
Mm-hmm.
okay, by law, they have to place the children with family members first
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in the world. Mr. Davis, Attorney Davis, has said this on his shows multiple times. By law, they have to place children with family members first, even if there's no members, then best friend or godmom or goddad or whatever. Okay, even an older sibling, an oldest child, right? They have to have the placement first. But what they do, in order for them to ensure more funding, more money, they have to get the children adopted.
Yeah.
Children must be adopted. Now they still get funding, but not as much as adoption.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what they
Mhm.
focus on. They focus on adoption,
And
and,
that's what Nancy.
and
And
that's
that's what Nancy was explaining. That's what Nancy wanted. Nancy was pretty much saying, I don't care if you got to go down a long list of family members. Just find somebody else that can be able to adopt these kids instead of you just adopting these kids out to the strangers.
yeah.
She also wanted for us when we get like when it's time for us to go into court, she
Mhm,
wanted it to be a jury that would
mhm,
say if we deserve to get our kids back or not. We
mhm,
all know when we go in that courtroom, it's just the lawyer, the judge,
mhm,
the social worker. Everybody is the same. You might have like one or two people in there that's waiting for their case to be heard, but that's it. Like,
mhm,
why does it have to be that way? Like
mhm,
I said, Nancy was dead on point with a lot. And see, this is a lot of stuff that I didn't understand until now. I really had to take some time to do research. Like they took my baby from me from the hospital right after I had my baby. And like I said, no care is given. They took my baby right out of the hospital and then went to go to take the other ones. And I didn't think about that too. Like to me, now that I know, my baby was the most. Y'all got the most money off my baby, the
mhm,
most.
mhm,
And and it's sad to say this because I did hear like little bits of stuff. Like my baby, they really be wanting to keep the babies. It really don't necessarily be the older ones, it be the babies
mhm,
because they're worth more. But with my situation, I felt like because they were relatives, I was told it was hard to keep relatives together. But somehow they found a way to keep mine together. This is everybody's situation and case is always different. You always find out different things in each case. They're individually are all different, and it's always something that sticks out. What sticks out to me the most about my case, again, I said I had three social workers. I had three social workers, but it was two that was working my case. You
mhm.
might as well say that third one that was working my case, she worked it as well, and she worked me. The third social worker was the foster mom. That's how I got introduced. My name is such and such and such.
Wait, wait, wait,
I
wait.
live in I
Wait. Did you just say the third social worker was a foster mom?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay, go
ma'am.
on. Go on.
Yeah. The third social worker was the foster mom. I met you. You introduced yourself to me. You told me your name and where you lived and that you had my kids. You told me that you was a social worker. And that's why I sit here today. It's been 11 years. My oldest son is now 17 years old. And you you reached out to me. She texted me like this paragraph. This is
Mhm,
another reason why I'm here today.
mhm,
And she pretty much, this is why I had to let them know I
mhm,
didn't leave y'all and I didn't abandon y'all. Because for years, that's what you have been telling them.
mhm,
Y'all foster parents, and don't get me wrong, it's not all. The things that y'all do be wrong, especially in my case. Instead of you just telling my kids the truth, you said it was no secrets in your household. You said that they know that they're adopted. Well, you should have also told them I didn't leave them. I didn't abandon them. I didn't drop them off on your doorstep. I didn't leave them in no alleyway. Y'all didn't just pick them up. Y'all snatched them from me, and I didn't have a chance to fight to get them back. And the fight that I did fight, I just didn't win it because it
because we're
wasn't good enough.
fighting with the court pretender. I call
Exactly.
them pretender. All they do is they pretend to be attorneys. Literally, they're bankrupt from themselves. They're useless. They're useless individuals who actually the state assigns to people who can't afford an outside attorney, for example, to handle their
Exactly.
case because they know they target people who cannot afford an attorney. I'll give you
Exactly.
an example. Wow. One of our clients, she was in similar situation as you, right? But she
Mm-hmm.
found her uncle from far away in another country. She was well off. So she contacted him, told him what happened. His uncle contacted me. I spoke with him, what have you. The uncle said, I don't know what CPS is. They don't have it over there. So he said, but I know that she's in trouble and she's family. That's what he said. I want to pay for the retainer. That's what he said. Now, not every woman has it that way. When she
Exactly.
hired our office, she said the social worker could not believe, because the social worker went back to her house and then she said, well, now I have the law office of Vincent Davis. You need to contact them. She said the social worker had her jaw, like her jaw open, her mouth open, and she didn't say a word because she
Exactly.
knew she had no money to hire an attorney. Then the social worker told her, well, how did you get the money? Did
Yeah.
you sell drugs? Did you do this? Did you do that? And she said, I've never done drugs in my life. I've never sold drugs, never done drugs. And the only reason they took the children from her was 5 kids, because one of the children was a year old and he fell.
Mhm.
She was a concerned, paranoid mom.
Mhm.
Okay. She took the child to the hospital to make sure there's no broken bones on the baby.
Mhm.
She grabbed all her children with her. So
Mhm.
the social worker at the hospital was notified by the nurse, and
Mhm.
they got involved, and all the kids were removed, saying that she abused the 1-year-old. Now, how
Exactly.
could she abuse the 1-year-old if she took
Mhm.
her to the hospital? Now, she was also collecting food stamps, cash aid, whatever, for the children and herself because she was low
Mhm.
income. Her ex left her completely dry, went with another woman who's younger in a different state. She
Mhm.
can't find him. She can't collect child support, whatever. She was struggling for 5 kids. She never
Mhm.
worked because she stayed home to take care of the kids while he was the provider. So her
Mhm.
story is intense also. And when I
Mhm.
was listening to her, she showed me evidence and everything, right?
Mhm.
And I was listening to her and I was like, literally, when I talk to mothers, I become tearful because I become them, and people
Mhm.
don't understand, and shame on those people who actually judge women who don't have their children. Shame on
Oh
you.
yes.
And
Oh
one day
yes.
you will be in their shoes, and one day either you or your grandkids or your great grandkids, because God don't like ugly. So
Oh
never
no, he don't.
judge anybody. Never judge
No,
anybody.
he don't.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, that woman, when she told her about the attorney, anyways, she couldn't believe it.
Mhm.
That got the money and everything was done.
Mhm.
Our law office is handling your case and all that. But again, I'm telling you this because sometimes miracles do happen. You just don't
Oh yeah.
know.
Oh
And
yeah.
sometimes people look at it in a different light. I have
Mhm.
no hope. There's nothing going right for me, this and that. But usually it has to rain, right?
Oh
Before the
yeah.
rainbow, right, shines. So you get rainbow after a rain. So when
Mhm.
during the rain and thunderstorm and all this, people are reluctant to go outside. That's how life is. You're in a
Oh
shell.
yeah.
You're in a shell. And you're in that
Mhm.
shell not because you're a druggie or not because you're a crazy woman or that you're mentally disturbed.
Exactly.
You're in a shell
Mhm.
because they stole your soul. They
Oh
literally,
yeah.
your children's DNA is inside you for the rest of your life. They
Exactly. And
literally
that's
kidnap
exactly.
you. Yeah. And then they
Yeah.
wonder why women go to depression, right? When you
Mhm.
steal their children, and they wonder why children act up when they're in a foster home, and they blame it on the mom. Even if there's a domestic
Exactly.
violence, even if there's a domestic violence, they say the report goes under the mother.
Mhm.
CPS report goes under the mother, even though the mother is the victim. And she's the one who
Mhm.
calls the police. They
Mhm.
don't listen to the moms, right?
Nope.
They don't listen to
Nope.
the moms.
No, because that's what it was for me. It's like I stated.
No.
The third social worker was the foster mom. And
Yep.
that's why I can count on how many times I can count on one hand how many times I talked to this lady. And this
Mm-hmm.
is why I choose not to talk to her. Is
Mm-hmm.
because you was a social worker yourself. I feel like you played me. I feel like you took everything from me as well. I feel like you knew the in and the outs of the cases yourself. I feel like all y'all was in on it together. I feel like you when it comes to her, I feel like you were supposed to be there to help me as being a foster mom and saying that you're a single mom yourself. So to me, you would have understood my struggle. To me, you didn't, because when we would talk and I would say certain things, like at the time that the case was going on, my case been well and done over. My kids been my oldest son, again, I say 17. This has been 11 years. My kid's been adopted out. And this is the thing that I say. Um, to me, when I talk to her, to me, it was for me to talk to my oldest son, and I'm glad that he did remember me. But we spend most all time when I am talking, you in the background. He's
Mhm.
17. He's almost fixing to be grown, and that's what I didn't understand. If you wanted me talking about closure, to me, it would never be no closure. It won't. And to me, I would have been my kid's therapy if you would have gave me that opportunity. You said the reason why you closed the adoption is because you felt like I was gonna hurt them, and because I stopped showing up to visits. This is the case, G. I got an apartment, but my apartment was 30 minutes away from Raleigh, North. No, an hour away from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Mhm.
So when I started, and I had got a job there as well. So when I started going to visits, I used to have to pay like almost 60 to 100 and some dollars just to get up here because I didn't have a vehicle at the time. I used to have to take a taxi cab just to get up here to the visits. So I'm saying to her is, what visits that I miss? How many visits could I have missed that would make you want to close the adoption? To me, you closed your adoption for all your reasons.
Oh,
Because,
no,
like
no,
I said,
no, they closed the adoption way before they even told you about it.
exactly,
They already
exactly.
knew. They set up
Mhm.
everything in place. Look, a sociopath or a narcissist will already, they're
Yep,
calculating individuals. They set
yep.
everything else in place and they already know. The day they took your children, they already planned what they're going to do with those kids.
Just
People
like
don't
they knew they wasn't giving them back.
right.
Yeah, I
People don't
said that too.
right. And then people say, no, we're gonna wait. Our court appointed attorney said blah 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 blah. They're
Oh,
gonna unify us. No, they're not. They're not
no, I
going
felt.
to unify you.
Yep, I felt like, and I'm glad we're on the same point. I
Yep.
said the exact same things. That's why I said, to me, it really don't matter if I had a lawyer or no lawyer. Even though I was homeless and even though I couldn't afford one, y'all base what I said was,
Mhm.
my social worker basically told me, you
Mhm.
took my kids because I was homeless, I was having another one and it wasn't nobody there, and because I was just flat out dumb, stupid, wasn't smart enough. Those were the words that came out of her mouth. So I can't raise my kids because I'm not as smart as you. And
Wow.
that's basically what I was getting. You know what I'm saying? And I knew then, you really got to think about it. You don't have, you don't get no say so.
No.
Really, to be honest, to tell you the truth, I feel like they just have us working that service plan just to be working it. But to me, they already, the moment they get involved, they
Mhm.
already done made a decision on
Mhm.
if you're gonna get them kids back or not.
Especially when they
They
know
just
you're
want you.
pregnant. Yeah. Especially when
Exactly,
they know you're pregnant. Yeah. And that's why
exactly.
going forward, because of that CPS case that you had, going forward now, say you're in your 30s, say you meet a guy, you want to
Yeah.
get married, you want to have a child, even
Mm-hmm.
though you marry somebody else, completely different
Hmm.
from the children's dad that were taken from
Yeah.
children from you,
Hmm.
go after that child too. And a lot of
Exactly.
people, they say, no, no, Georgette, I don't think so. I'm pregnant, but it's a different dad. I tell them
Hmm.
all the time, do not think that because it's a different dad, they're not going to go after you because
Exactly.
you're already on their radar. I'll give you
Exactly.
an example. One of my close friends, one got her kids back, won a lawsuit, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Literally waited until the lawsuit settled. She sold her place, everything, and she moved to Paris. She
Hmm.
literally moved to Paris. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to see you again. I miss you, blah, blah, blah. I said, keep your dual citizenship. She said, hell no. Hell
Hmm.
no. I said,
Hmm.
why would you not want to come back? She said, I cannot come back to the United States ever again. She's
Hmm.
so disgusting. She's disgusting
Hmm.
of the shit that she went through. She had no priors, never been in trouble, nothing. All the reason is they took her twin boys because of an allegation, right? From her
Yep.
ex and his mother and his family, all of that to protect his ex so he doesn't pay child support. So
Right.
the allegations were not even found credible.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yet the social
Hmm.
worker lied on the stand, and when they do lie, they actually get promoted. Believe it or not, people
Oh
think
yeah.
if you catch a social worker lying, she's going to lose her job. You guys have
No,
no clue that they
no clue.
actually get promoted.
No clue. Once
Right.
you find out that they're all working together, because they all work together. If I swear, I'm on the scale of two people. The
Mm-hmm.
man up above, CPS and cops. Because when
Mm-hmm.
I tell you if CPS and cops, CPS broke me. And when I say broke me, it is not another human being on this earth that I'm scared of. But when I say CPS, it's like you don't stand a chance. You
Baby,
don't.
yes, are demonic individuals.
They are.
They're
They come
demons
and do
because they are
exactly.
the ones who cause chaos in a child's world. That
Yes.
does something to the psyche of a child. You know, a lot of children they get obese. Let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
why. Because a child's comfort is food. So they get
Mm-hmm.
when you take them away from their mother, their comfort
Mm-hmm.
is food. Give them food
Yeah.
to numb their pain. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't understand that when you attack a child like this, you're not helping the child because you
You're
stupid
not.
asses stole the child from their comfort zone, which is their mother. They're
Yep.
not there, you pieces of shit. The
Yep.
foster parents could never take a place of a mom. Ever.
No, they can't.
Place
And
of a
it
mom.
did. Oh,
Yeah.
let's not talk about the ones. Oh, we ain't even gonna get on the social workers. We not even gonna get on the social workers that don't even have kids, but act like they can tell you how to raise a child. Y'all, I be laughing because I be like, where y'all be studying at? Y'all be studying out a parent magazine that y'all be picking up at our local grocery stores? Because it don't make sense to me how you don't have a child, but you literally trying to tell me how to raise mine. But
Yep.
then you got the ones that got kids, and
Mhm.
y'all be being
Yep.
weird to me too, because I don't
Yep.
understand y'all either. Because it's like the ones that got the kids, they want you to raise your kids just like they raise theirs.
Yeah, but
It
look,
don't make sense.
let me pause you for a second, baby girl. But let me say
Mm-hmm,
this. What they do, they take children from low income families, right?
mm-hmm,
Mother, especially
mm-hmm,
mom. Then they
mm-hmm.
put them in a foster home, and guess what the foster parent gets? They get
Money.
help. Yeah, there you go. They get money.
Exactly.
Wait, the
Mm-hmm.
parent, you pay them child support, right? And then,
Yep, I had to. Mm-hmm,
yeah, and then on top of that, they get help from DPSS, they get food stamps, they get cash aid for the children. So they
mm-hmm.
still get funding, right?
Oh yeah.
If
Oh
the
yeah.
mother is low income and she's getting the funding, then they still
Mm-hmm.
have children. But yet
Yeah.
they don't want to help the mom, but give them to a foster home because that's how they make their funding. See how it goes? See how it's
Exactly.
like a circle.
Oh yeah, it's a circle. I see how it goes, and
Yeah.
that's why I say this. I call it the book, the CPS summary report. To me, that's a book. Y'all take between 1 to 7 days if you ask me to write that book about me, and to me, that's a whole nother person y'all writing about. I don't know nothing about that person that y'all wrote that whole big book on. I don't
Mhm.
believe nothing that's in that book because that's by word of mouth. That's by she said. That's by the petty stuff that y'all make up because it's nothing that's related to me.
Mhm.
Even with it being so long with my case, I
Mhm.
always stuck by what was told to me on the reason why y'all took my kids. And it was yet again because I was homeless,
Mhm.
giving birth to one, and nobody wasn't there. And because I was just not smart enough to keep them, is what I was told. So as I was sitting on the phone with the foster mom,
Mhm.
I'm talking to my eldest son. And that's not a way that I wanted to talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him that way.
Mhm.
And it was so much. I'm crying, he crying, but I was just happy to talk to my son. But the thing that got me was when I started saying all these years, now that I know y'all played me and you was in on playing me because
Mhm.
you was a social worker at the time. Now you want to jump in and be like, oh, well, you did leave them. You did leave them. I didn't leave them. Then
Mhm.
she also want to be in the background. Um, how did she say it? She was like, well, they played me too. How did you get played? Your kids don't have to go through what my kids going through. So how did you get played? And then this is what I said, Mrs. G. I said, all this time I could have been raising my own kids. Did y'all not think that did y'all this is my thing to them. Did y'all think I was gonna be in the shelter forever? Y'all didn't even give me a chance to get back on my feet. And even when I did, yet again, because y'all was involved, it wasn't good enough for y'all. I
Mhm.
completed myself. I completed everything that y'all asked me to complete. Because that's another thing she gonna say too. Well, why did you not complete your service plan? Ma'am, I did complete my service plan. Y'all knew from the beginning when y'all met me, y'all weren't gonna get them back. So let's not do that, ma'am. And then she in the background, well, you did leave them, ma'am. I didn't leave them. And I was kind of getting agitated because she was like, and she was like, you more vocal now than you was then, and to me, you really didn't fight. Ma'am, I did fight and I still lost. Let's not say I didn't fight because I did. I just didn't win the fight. Y'all knew what it was. Y'all knew how y'all was coming. And another thing she said too, I'm saying to myself, I'm saying to myself, I really would like to talk to my son. I'm not understanding. You reached out to me. He's now old enough. I'm glad my baby remembered me. This is one thing he always said when I was going to do visits. Are you coming back? And I always said, I am. Not knowing that I wasn't going to be able to come back. Because, oh, trust me, if I could have, I would have. See, that's
Mhm.
another thing for me to the foster mom.
Right.
Still to this day, you're telling them that I'm not fighting for them, or I could have. Ma'am, my rights was terminated. If my rights is terminated, how can I fight? Don't try to make it seem like I didn't try to fight. I did and I lost it. And then if I still could be fighting to this day, I would be, but my rights is terminated. So how can I fight? So it's like you just giving them just more and more to hate me. You say you never said nothing bad about me. I don't believe that's true. And before I can get off the phone, she also wanted to make it well known. She had to let it be known. During the month of October and the month of February is when my son have the hardest time the most, because that's the time that they went in the system. And that my son loses his job every year, and that he has just gotten out of psychiatric hospital. That's not something that I want to hear. It's not something that I wanted to hear. To me, you really could have kept it to yourself, because you just don't know how that broke me as well. I already know my kids had to deal with stuff that they shouldn't have had to go through. But for you to say that, and then gonna say, after me and him done talked on the phone, you gonna say now he's willing to go to therapy. That should have been something that all my kids should have been going to a long time ago. But to be honest, I am my kids' therapy. Because if
Mhm.
you would have been letting them reach out, if you would have been letting them reach out to me, if you would have been letting them talk to me,
Mhm.
I already had swallowed my pride. And that's what the lady don't understand. I already had swallowed my pride, lady, because you got my kids. And I know you got my kids. So
Mhm.
it's like, what else could I do? So it was like I already had swallowed my pride to know that I got to deal with you for the sake of them. And trust me, I was going to do everything that I could for them to make sure that that was good.
Mhm.
But tell me that my son done been in a psychiatric ward like that literally broke me, because no
Mhm.
telling how much medicine they had to try on him before they found one that was going to work. To
Mhm.
me, that's not even that shouldn't even been a place that he was at.
And they're numbing the children with drugs.
Exactly.
The children grows up to be drug addicts. You know
Exactly.
what's so sad about all this is that they give the children to abusive people, especially if it's an ex-spouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this lady that I speak with constantly. She's one of our clients. Both of her daughters were given to the ex-husband, who is a firefighter, but he's the
Mm-hmm.
abuser, who married a
Mm-hmm.
district attorney who became a judge later on, right? Now he married that district attorney, just so you know, to get what he wants, not because he loves her, but because it was 4 months after, a few months after their divorce, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the other day, the mother called me and she said he gives alcohol to his 12 and 14-year-old. He gives them alcohol to drink,
Right.
and he buys them whatever they want, expensive, so they can keep it on the hush hush, because teenagers want what they want.
Want what they want.
There you go. So basically, that's our system.
It
So it's
is.
who you are as a parent. It's who you freaking know,
Exactly.
or who you come across, right, to
Mm-hmm.
marry. So
Uh-huh.
that way you have the upper hand. You have this, you have that on your side. So they marry enablers, and then the system sides with them because they use a title as a definition of self. So what
Exactly.
they do, they use one's title, right? Their title as
Uh-huh.
a definition of self. Do you guys
Hmm.
get me? What I'm
And
saying?
that's what it was. Yes,
Right.
because that's what it was.
Right.
That's what it was. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I had to say that's what it was with me for her. You was a social worker. You was a social worker.
Mm.
And what she say now when we talk on the phone, CPS played me just like they played you. Oh, but now she said that. But I say to you, ma'am, how did you get played? This is what she said. When I said, this is what I said. All this time I could have been raising my kids myself. She was like, well, I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to be the foster mom to them. If that's the case, if you just wanted to be the foster mom, why did you go and adopt them so quickly? If you
Because
would have just
come on now. They're going
exactly.
to convince them, right? And then they're going to make more money. So I don't believe her. Honestly, she knew what she
I
was going
don't.
to do. She
Yeah.
knew what she's
She
going to do because all foster parents do not get into that job field unless they want to adopt. Why do they want to do this? Let me tell you why. They want to test the children first. Are we going to get along with them? Are they suitable? Well, let me have them for a few months. Then, if they don't get along with the kids, then they say, "Now, move on. Let's have another set of kids."
exactly. I'm like, if you would have did that,
There you
if,
go.
if you would have did that, then maybe I would have had a more chance at getting them back myself. Since now you want to say, well, I didn't want to adopt them. I was just gonna foster them. Well, why did you? Why did you adopt? And
Yep.
then see, that's like I said, you act like I'm not catching what's going on here. Before you took my kids into custody, you already had a son, your biological son yourself, but you already had another adopted child that was on her way to go off to college. So you already done did this before.
Yep.
So see, yet again, you're trying to play me, and
Right.
then gonna say this is she's talking about something. So to be honest, after you got my kids, you moved because we was in the same state. You
Mhm.
moved and you went out of state, and
Yep.
then not only that, you gonna say that was another reason why you stopped that's another reason why you stopped being a social worker because it's such a high rate on them. It's such a high rate on them taking our kids. To me, if you knew that, why did you even go into the field in the first place?
Please, I don't believe anything that comes out of their asses. I mean, I'm sorry for saying that,
Exactly.
but I don't believe anything that comes out. I will listen to them, and I will literally, whatever they're telling me is going to be reversed. Because in my
Exactly.
mind, whatever they're saying is going to be the opposite of what they're saying. And the reason
Exactly.
that is because they lie so much that you really have no other choice but not to believe them, right?
You don't.
When a person cries wolf all the time, it comes to a point when you're like, nah, even though there is a wolf, but you don't believe
Mm-hmm.
it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have, I want to read Shakita Hicks, what she wrote. She said, Miss G, I asked the social
Oh,
worker during cross, I don't know what she meant by that, did her investigation of my past allegation and current ones. Was she able to see that all the allegations came from the grandmother and father and never a school, doctor, or neighbor? She said she can't reveal her sources, which is
uh-huh.
sad. I mean,
Right.
Shakita, I mean, I want to laugh and cry at the same time, but it's funny, but yet sad at the same time.
It's very sad.
Social workers are demons. Demons
They are.
in the body of a social worker. Why? Because a demon needs a nest, right? They need a body to nest in. People
Yes,
don't
they do.
understand that. I don't care if you're not Christian or not. Demons need a body to nest in. Demons are not going to nest in a holy body. They're going to nest in a demonic body. Period. And their demonic ways and actions is so apparent, but yet the judges who are stupid enough to believe them overlooking evidence, meaning the judge sees the evidence, but he or she is too lazy to actually review the report before the hearing, and they just go by what the CPS worker is saying. I have witnessed social workers laughing at parents' faces when they're crying over their children being stolen from them. And I have seen the coldness and the darkness in their hearts. And by their actions, they are literally getting a satisfaction from just hurting a mother's heart. They are so satisfied. And these court pretending pieces of shit, attorneys, they are nothing. They're stupid as hell because they don't listen. They don't listen to their client. And why don't they listen to their client? Because, guess what? Because they don't want to lose.
Because they all work together. They all work together.
All together. It's all together.
It's no winning.
It's no, they're not gonna go against the hand that feeds them.
Exactly.
That's what people don't understand. They're not gonna go against the hand that feeds them and pays them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The reason the government gives people, low-income people, food stamps and cash aid,
mm-hmm.
the same reason the government provides you with a court pretender.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a motive behind one's action. Okay? Those government officials, such as the president, vice president, all these people need votes. So what do they do? They promise the moon and the stars and all that. They promise people that. So people start saying, I'm going to vote because he's a Democrat. I'm going to vote because he's a Republican. Forget this shit. Get this shit out of your head. You don't vote for somebody because he's a Democrat and or a Republican. Think about it.
Right.
Think about it. Nancy Schaefer, the reason I love that woman, and I always pray for her soul, because she literally got death threats, and she lost her seat on the Senate when she exposed Bill Clinton for his demonic, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In 1997 act.
Mm-hmm.
He did this. Right. He started this shit because social workers before didn't have immunity like this and funding like this. It was never like this. I am in my 50s and I have never, as a child, ever been told anything about a social worker. And I used to be in sports. I used to play volleyball. I loved, what do you call it? Rollerblading. I loved rollerblading. And I used to fall a lot because I used to love making tricks and all this. And I would go to school and the teacher was like, what happened to you today, Georgette? I'm like, well, I took my rollerblades to school, because I didn't live that far away. And I fell, and it's the truth.
Exactly, you're right. Because
now you say that and they automatically call who? CPS.
Exactly. But that's
that God honest
from me.
Yeah.
We grew up, that's so sad to say, because I never was taught about them. I never knew anything about them, especially with my family, because we grew up on the back of U-Haul trucks. We grew up sitting in parks, not having nowhere to go. We've been switched from different schools constantly. I grew up watching my family fight and call cops on one another. Like I said, that's why I said my grandma was the mold of the family. She was my biggest support. So when she passed away, it was like everything just went all the way downhill. I always felt like growing up I was cursed. Like nobody really cared for me or loved me. Still to this day, I still consider myself the black sheep of the family. It's like, because I don't get the support that I should. I just don't have no family. All my kids was my family. And that's why I said, CPS, y'all would never understand that. Y'all took the only thing as family away. And it's all to be because I'm not smart enough to raise them. I'm not in the house right now. I'm not working right now. Can you let me get on my feet first? I mean, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I also didn't ask to be a single mother. I don't understand.
They go after the low-income people, mothers.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, they set this DPSS crap and all this in place to get children to steal children from low income
That's
parents.
it. That's
Why are
it.
you taking them from low income, stealing them from low income, yet you're giving funding to a foster piece of shit parent? That's
When
what
you
you're.
just could have gave me the income and let me got in a place.
Yes,
It make sense.
that's
And
not
see,
what
this is
you
why
do.
I said
Yeah.
I didn't. I always went off by what was told to me about why my kids was taken away. I didn't ever go by what was written in the summary report because everything that was in the summary report wasn't true. So as I was sitting on the phone with the foster mom listening, and as I was talking to my elder son, which these is things I wanted to know. How was my son's childhood growing up? I
Mhm.
wanted to know how was he treated. I wanted to know was he okay. I wanted to know how he was feeling. I couldn't get none of that out because I was crying. He was crying because I wasn't planning on having that conversation with him that early and over the phone. I thought it would have been in person, and then I gotta have you because he's 17, you in the background screaming you did leave him. You didn't fight the way that you should have fight. And it was just like, yeah, now that I'm telling you that I know that y'all played me and I know more than I know then, now it's like, oh well, yeah, CPS played both of us. Yet again, ma'am, how did you get played? And then you're gonna try to say, I could have been going to doctor's appointments and ma'am, I can count again on one hand how many times that we done talked, and the reason why I didn't talk to you, because I can pick up an energy. The reason why I didn't talk to you is because every time that I talked, you always told me that I wasn't the victim. You know
Mhm.
what's so sad about it? She always told me that I wasn't the victim. My kids was the victim. You know what's so sad about it is once my son was on the other end of that phone and I brought that conversation up, she didn't speak on it at all. Because it was like I said, you always told me I wasn't the victim, that my kids was the victims. But the whole time we were all the victims. Like,
Sweetheart,
how am I not a victim? How
you
am I not a victim?
you are a victim. The kids are a victim because you and your kids are one. Those
Yeah,
pieces of shit, like I said, a demon has no soul. You honestly
they
think
don't.
people have a soul? You cannot have a soul and do this to innocent people. You you have to be so dark inside to get satisfaction from people's pain, especially a mother. Now, what gets me now is that a man now can beat up a woman, and the woman goes, like the case in Florida. There's a case in
Mm-hmm.
Florida this year.
Mm-hmm.
A woman reported it to the police. The police said she has to go to court. I mean, put a restraining order against her husband or her ex.
Mm-hmm.
She did. The judge didn't grant the restraining order right away, obviously. Um, and the father killed because he sent death threats to her via text. I'm gonna, disconnect your head from your body or something like that. And death threats. He killed his 7-year old. I believe it was a 7-year old son, right?
Wow.
I have to
Mm-hmm.
look at the article again. I think it was a 7-year old son.
Right.
In either 7 or 6. However,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know what happened to the mother yet. I haven't finished reading the article, but I was trying to finish it when when 1 o'clock came and I had to, get in the show with you. But it was so disturbing that they don't take mothers seriously. Why? Let me tell you why. Okay.
They don't.
Because one mother or two mothers in the past made false allegations on their exes because of
Mm-hmm.
malicious reasons, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
those idiots that did this made it so hard on mothers who are actually being abused, who are
Mm-hmm.
actually need help. So now
Mm-hmm.
they're treating all the cases the same.
Uh-huh.
Yet the social worker attacks the mother when there's a domestic violence. And when the mother makes the report goes on the mother's name, under the
Mm-hmm.
mother's name. And the mother, instead of her being the victim, they say she failed to protect. How in
Mm-hmm.
the name of Christ did the mother fail to protect if she called the police for protection?
Exactly.
But then they say to the mother that you should have known better.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you're in a destructive relationship, when
Oh
you're
yeah.
dealing with a narcissist, right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
They gradually get to you. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
like a long period of time, but they gradually get to you. For an educated woman, they get to you first, your heart, right? Then
Oh yeah.
after that, then they get into your psyche, your mind. Then
It's like
after
CPS.
then they start slowly building to physical,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Yes, ma'am.
while the woman is saying, I need therapy for my marriage so we can help, then why do you have therapy, you pieces of shit? Why do you
Right.
have therapy if you tell the mother she should have been? So, okay, so she went to therapy. She wants therapy to save her marriage because when you're with a narcissist, you're trying to figure out what happened in step A while he's
Yeah.
already at step D,
Yeah.
right? So the
Yes,
woman
ma'am.
is going backwards while the narcissist is going forward. So the
Mm-hmm.
woman is trying to figure out, hey, what happened here? A and
Mm-hmm.
B. While he's in D, F, Z. He's like taking turns going forward, setting her
Right.
up to fail. Then she calls when there's a domestic violence, and the woman finally says, wait a minute, I didn't think it's gonna get to this end. Abuse,
Mm-hmm.
physical abuse. I need to protect myself and my kids. Let me call the police.
Right.
Once the woman calls the police, it goes under her name. And guess what? Now they're arresting women. They're now the police is arresting women because men say, "Oh, she hit me first." Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. They cut this little cut on the arm, little cut, and they say, "Oh, the woman was holding a knife," and the mother
And that's
swears up and down she never even carried the knife. But
right.
yet they say
Indeed.
what? It's the mother's fault. She failed
Right.
to protect. This shit is real. If
It is
people
real.
if people watching my show, they think I'm talking out of my butt. I'm not talking out of
No,
my butt. It's
at
deeper
all.
than you guys think. This is they use they abuse parents
Mm-hmm.
by setting rules up in place to violate your rights, your God-given, your constitutional
Exactly.
rights. They act like they're God on earth.
Because
They
I didn't even know I had rights. And
it's
that's why
you have
exactly.
rights. You have
Mm-hmm.
rights. They violated your rights just because you're homeless. You went to a
Right.
shelter. Then why do they have
Right.
shelters? Tell me. Tell me right now. Why do they have shelters? If they're
Exactly. That's what I didn't understand.
no, they have
And that's the
shelters.
thing. And that's what it was with the CPS summary. In the CPS summary, it was,
Right.
oh, you was leaving your kids with strangers. You
Mhm.
in the CPS summary, it was you was leaving your kids with strangers. You was letting them fall out of bunk beds. That's why I never listened to nothing that was in the summary because I'm like, I just got into it with somebody in the park about my babies because she wanted to a whole totally stranger now. You wanted to give my baby candy, and I'm literally it was about to be a whole war behind my baby because everybody behind my kids is up because I don't even know you. And I'm like, because I got to deal with him later. You don't. And for one, we don't even know you. And we're out here going back and forth because I got to argue with you because you want to give my son candy. No, you being weird to me. And then that's why I said with the foster mother, that was one of the things that she wanted to bring up. The summary. Oh, well, you was letting them fall out bunk beds. You was leaving them with strangers. Ma'am, none of that is true. If I'm
I
out there
know that.
arguing with a whole stranger, how am I
You're
leaving them
right.
with strangers?
There you go.
And
You're right.
exactly,
Yeah.
you wasn't even there. So where are you getting your information from?
Right.
That's why I said you was a social worker. And
Mhm.
see, I don't think that was something that she was expecting for me to come at her with, like, oh, I know more now than I knew then. I can speak now more than I could speak then. Like I said, Miss G, I didn't know I had rights. And that's why I said I wasn't so vocal about it 11 years ago because I didn't know what to say, how to say it, or when to say it, or when should I say it, or I didn't know I had rights. I
Right.
didn't know what to do. Basically, I was told to sit back, be quiet, and keep my mouth shut, and that's what I did. So that's why I was over the phone with her, like, how do you want me to fight when I'm getting told to be quiet and don't say nothing, or I'm gonna mess everything up?
Yep.
So what do you want from me?
They say that to everybody, though. They say that to
Mm-hmm,
everybody. I wanna read this comment. I know
mm-hmm.
him very well, and I love this guy. However,
Okay.
young man, I'm gonna say you're wrong. He said the police have no duty to protect only report and investigate. That is not right. It's to serve and protect. That's their
Right.
freaking duty. Serve and protect. Serve
Yep.
and protect. Serve
Mhm.
and protect. So when there is a domestic violence case, how is the woman going to get protection? She has to call the police. The police's
Exactly.
job is to protect the woman, right? Not to report
Right.
her to CPS, to steal her
Right.
children. Okay,
Exactly.
that's what I'm talking about. So
Oh, I
I
agree.
agree with you on that. Serve and protect. That's their freaking job.
Right.
All I can say
I
is,
agree.
honestly, you're not the only victim. There's so many out there, and there's a lot of great mothers out there who are fighting for their kids. But
Hmm.
honestly, women are usually targeted only because they're low income.
Yeah.
They're low income because men usually, right, in corporate world, men makes more money than women,
Hmm.
right? Because a man in corporate world, the man pays child support.
Hmm.
The man is the head of the household. But what those
Hmm.
assholes don't understand is that women pay child support. Women
Yeah.
are the head of the household. But you
Yes.
have a man and a woman in the same company doing
Hmm.
the same job, and the woman is
Hmm.
actually working harder than the man, right?
Hmm.
But
Yes,
yet
ma'am.
the other man makes way more money. We're talking about four figures more than the
Hmm.
woman, right?
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
That blows my mind. But yet they're slamming women pay child support to fathers who actually make $18,000 a month, who
Exactly.
actually stole their kids, making false allegations on the mom. That part
Exactly.
blows my
And I
mind.
was paying mine to the
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
But once they get adopted, then that's it. Once they're adopted, then it's closed. And that's why, but this is so hard for me because just me being able to talk to my 17-year-old. I talked to them November the 17th was the last time I heard from my son. The message that I got was, hey, when is a good time for us to contact you? I sent the time back. I said 9 o'clock will be fine. I got a response back that said, okay, we will be calling you at 9 o'clock. Why do you need to call me? He's 17. What is it that you feel like I owe you? This is what it is for me and her. I did thank you. I thanked you. You know why I thanked you as being a foster mom? Because you got all four of them together. That's the only reason why I thanked you. Other than that, I don't owe you nothing else. Thank you for keeping them together, but you still played me.
Mhm,
That's just what it is. That just sums it up. Thank you for keeping my kids together, but you still play me and you still pretty much playing them against me.
mhm.
After that
That's
whole
what they
phone
do.
conversation.
Listen, there's a lot of mothers who actually go to their visitation, right? And then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, their visitations are canceled. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is the social worker tells the children, guess what? The social worker and the other party, not the foster parent, but the ex, right? Oh, your mom
Mm-hmm.
didn't show up. She doesn't want
Exactly.
to see you anymore.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. So that's what they tell the children. So when they tell that to the children, guess what? The children are gonna think the mother really didn't want to show up.
And that's what it was. Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Do
No.
you see? Did you see? Do you see what they did? Then in
Yeah.
court they
All the
say,
time.
"Oh, the mother didn't show up for 5 visits, or the mother never showed up for any of her visits." Now, do you understand?
Exactly.
That's how they do it. That's
Yeah.
exactly how they do it. So, with
Yeah.
that being said, it's always against the mother. Always against the mother.
It's of course it's always against the mother.
Yeah,
It's all
always
because
against.
it's me. It's always against the mother. Like I
Yeah,
said, for whatever reasons it is with her, she told me that I need to be prepared.
yeah,
And to me, I'm like, I need to be prepared. For what
yeah.
reason do I need to be prepared? What are you, to me, it's like, what are you scared of? What are you hiding? What are you scared of? You know how she reached out to me? She reached out to me on via Facebook. To me, if you did that, I see, I know I got to a point, it got to a point where my child had got older. So I wasn't really looking for her. I was looking for him. Because clearly he the one that he's looking for me. He wants to know who I am. He wants to know what happened. But he's also Why did you leave me? Why did you never? I could have came back. I would have, and I did try. But I'm like, I didn't leave you. I didn't abandon you. But that's what you're telling them. And it was like, we talked, we cried together. But it was like her in the background. I don't know how that conversation went when you got off the phone. Like I said, we haven't talked since November the 17th. And really, to me, it's because I'm trying to give him time to register all this in. Because no telling what he been getting told all these years, to be honest. So it's like I want to just wait to see how he's gonna feel. Because to be honest, the message that I got was he will be graduating in June and he will be turning 18. And that would have been the day that I actually got to meet him, is when he was fixing to walk across the stage. You called me way before then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I cannot. I seriously cannot get over
Exactly.
this. This shit is what gets me to get so passionate when I speak. I mean, I'm not trying to be angry. I am angry, but I am
Right.
frustrated and tired of this stupid system. We have the most
Exactly.
dumbest shit. And the thing about it is, people say, oh, let's go to Africa and feed the children. But you pieces of shit taking children from your own land,
Yeah, exactly.
children from parents, from
Right.
American citizens. Are you
Right.
kidding me right now? And then they
Yeah.
go and say, oh, let's go to Africa and help the children. They don't need your
Mm-hmm.
help. You know why?
Right.
All you're using them for is what? As guinea
Money.
pigs. That's
Exactly.
exactly what
That's
you're using
it.
them for. You're not feeding them rice and beans like you or giving them shoes. You're using experimental medication on these children and their mothers.
Right.
And they're just being thankful because, hey, we have food, we have shoes, we have this. And then they keep injecting them, giving them this, doing that. That's all a bunch of crap.
Son
That's
done been in
all
a whole
a
psychiatric
bunch of crap.
hospital, and you had
Yeah.
this my first time. This is the thing that I didn't get with her. Like, what are you trying to do? This is supposed to be a conversation for me and my son, but it's like you're on the background saying a whole lot of other stuff, and I felt like that should have been our time and our moment. Then you had to let it be known that he was in a psychiatric hospital. Why? Why is that something that needed to be known? I don't even, again, he shouldn't have been there. And that's why I said it's sad, because he's my oldest. And what got me after that, after I heard that, was I haven't even met my son. I don't even know the first thing about my son, and I might lose my son to the streets due to the fact because you done put him in a psychiatric ward, and no telling how many different type of drugs they done had him on before they got the right one. And why do he need to be there? He doesn't have a mental illness. It's trauma, baby. It's trauma. You took him away from me. That's trauma. You adopted him. That's trauma. You changed their last names. That's trauma. All that's trauma. There's nothing mentally about it. And that's what I wanted to say too. I don't have no records. Not one. What, didn't smoke, not a smoker. Don't drink, not a mental illness. Wasn't taking no medicine, not nothing. So can y'all please tell me what was the issue? But see, they get a lot of them like that. I feel like, to me, more people go get the mental illness and start drinking and doing the hard drugs after the kids was taken away than why they were doing it. If you have a mental illness when you go into a situation like that, I feel for you. I hate it, because they target them the most too. That's a bigger way for them to keep your kids away too. If they can go in there and prove that you have a mental illness, and if you substance abuse, that's a big way for them to keep them away. A
Yep.
very big way. And to me, you shouldn't define nobody like that. You got people out here on drugs that can take care of their kids. You got people out here that drink that can take care of their kids. I mean, you do. And that's like I say, you got kids that's out here that's being abused and they're still there. You not taking them. You leaving them there. You actually letting them die later. Or either if you do take them, you take them and you put them in a worse situation that they was coming out of. Make it make sense. It doesn't make none.
Yeah. But
It's sad.
look what Samantha wrote. She said, 9-year-old is also on medicine, and I hate it. And she has already tried to put him on SSI for a speech and impediment that he doesn't really have anymore since he is older. So
Mm-hmm.
what they do again, they use what is that?
Oh, that's my phone. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Right.
Just end it. That scared me. Okay.
Right.
So what they do is they use the children to get money, to make money off of them. And they go on to drug them. They're going to keep them silent. And then when the children get older, guess what? And they're in the system at age 18, they get the hell out.
Right.
Right? They
Right.
kick them out, like get the hell out. Now there's no use for you anymore. Get out.
Right. Because that's my thing now
Get
to
out.
me is
I don't know.
why wouldn't he be able to reach out to me? Like, why do you have to be there?
Mhm.
And why it is so fun. And this is, and I don't know how people believe in so much stuff like this, but those are my babies. And this is my oldest.
Mhm.
I woke up one night sitting on the side of my bed. And when I tell you he was heavy on my heart, I woke up and I just sat on the side of the bed, but the whole time you would think I was talking to another person. But
Right.
I was calling his name the whole time. His nickname that we call him, that's what I was calling. But the whole time, the questions that I was asking was, is you okay, son? Are you all right? What's really going on? Is there something that I need to know?
Oh,
Why it was there. It was like I was literally talking to my baby. And
mhm.
that's what I had to explain to him over that phone. I was like, I don't know if it was during the time you was in the psychiatric ward. I don't know. But that's my oldest. Like that's what you don't understand. My birthday and his birthday is in the same month. That's why I said I gotta wait until he turned 18 and go across the state. No, yeah, I gotta know. He turns 18 in February. His
Mm.
birthday February the 1st, mine February the 3rd. He turns 18 then, but I gotta wait. Well, that's what the message said at first. I have to wait until he turns 18 and walks across the stage and graduate in order for us to have that communication. That's what I was waiting for. I didn't think that I was gonna get no phone call and me and my son was gonna be over the phone going talking and you was gonna be in the background. I was waiting. But my thing was he turned 18 in February. Why I gotta wait till he graduate? But that's the plan that she came up with. They can be 18, but I still have to wait till they walk across the stage.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. This is
Yep.
so it again, they you can go to school, you can get educated. All these people who think they're because they're educated and they have a degree, they lack the most important thing, compassion, common sense. You do not
Exactly.
They don't teach you that in school. So when somebody tells me I'm a senator or I am a firefighter or I am a police officer or I am a social worker or I'm a judge or a district attorney,
Right.
I don't look
Mm-hmm.
at them and say, oh well, let me bow to you, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I just look at them and say, really? So if that's the only
Right.
definition you have of who you are, then you're as
Mm-hmm.
poor as shit.
Exactly.
That's what I have to
That
say. Yeah.
exactly.
So this title shit doesn't get to me because
It
I
don't.
have more common sense than a freaking judge sitting down on a fucking chair. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to say
Mm-hmm.
that. On a freaking chair and
Mm-hmm.
wearing a black robe, judging unjustly. Not even using
Right.
common sense. They're not even reviewing what is in that damn, paperwork. Are they
Right.
reviewing it? No, they're not. You know why? Again, because they side with the social workers.
Exactly. They
Family
all
law
each other.
judges,
Y'all
same thing.
making it hard. Y'all
Same
making
thing.
it hard.
Yeah. Family law
Yeah.
judges, same thing. They think because a
Yep.
woman was in the system before, automatically she's either a criminal, she's either a drug addict, or she's an alcoholic, or she abused the children.
Right.
But
And
not
everybody and see
watching the
that's what
adult way.
eh,
They don't pay attention
exactly.
to the truth.
And that's why I said I never go by that CPS summary because my CPS what y'all said that y'all got me for was neglect. The kids
Right.
was neglected and independent. It's three boxes on there: neglect, dependent, and abuse. It was neglect and dependent checked on mine. It wasn't abuse. So that's why when I was talking to that foster mom, I had to let her know. Y'all, they also put in that summary report, they was trying to hit me with that I was putting my hands on my kids. And then at the fact they're talking about they fell out of bunk beds. Ma'am, that's what we had in the shelter. They had bunk beds, but you acting like kids don't fall. I kid you not. All this time that you had my kids is not one time that they haven't fell with you. So because my kid fell or got hurt by falling,
It's not about that.
exactly,
It's about that you low income in a shelter. That's period. That's all.
exactly,
That's the opportunity for them to steal the children and get them adopted.
yeah,
Period. There's really, honestly, they make excuses. Okay.
that's
Look,
it.
listen, an abuser, the first thing he tells his wife is what? You made me do it.
Yep.
An enabler, an
Mm-hmm.
enabler, like his mother, right, would say,
Mm-hmm.
what did you do to my son
Exactly. Yes.
to enable him to do this, or to provoke him rather to do this to you?
Mm-hmm. You're
That's
gonna have
an
to stop
enabler.
doing that.
So let me
Yeah.
tell you. So the system, this is just one example. So when you go to the system, they're abusers. Let me tell you why. The
Mm-hmm.
social workers abuses you and the children. They go to
Mm-hmm.
the judge and talk about the abuse, and then the judge turns around and says, what did you do?
Right.
The
That's
judge
the
is
picture.
enabling,
Yes.
judges are
Yes.
enabling the lies. Judges are
Mm-hmm.
enabling the criminal to get away with it. That's
Exactly. That
exactly what
CP.
the judges are doing. If you
Yes.
listen to this, I hope it makes sense to you.
It
They
does.
abuse you just like an abuser would abuse you.
Right, because to me, that CPS
Yeah,
summary report, the CPS summary report for me
yeah,
is a picture that they paint of you. That's the
yeah.
picture that you painted of me. That's the picture that you painted of me and anybody else that get a hold of that. And that's why I told her, because this is another thing she said. She said, I said, the picture that CPS painted of me is the one that you're going on. She said, yeah, but the picture that they painted wasn't bad. If it wasn't such a bad picture, then why are you trying to come at me with everything that was written in the CPS summary report? I told her, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not going off by what was the picture that they painted me in the summary. What I'm telling my son is the reason why they took him is the words that came out of the social worker mouth. I'm not going by what was written in the summary report because all that's made up. That's the picture that they painted me, and everybody that gets that feels the same way.
Right.
How can you how can you judge me or go or look at me and feel a certain type of way by me by a long piece of paper? How? All that's made up.
Yeah.
Nothing is truthful in it. Because where did they get that information from? Something they heard, something that was told, or something that they just sat down and made up. None of
Absolutely.
it is true because y'all don't ever get to know. Y'all don't ever get to know the family. Y'all
Mhm.
don't ever get to know the family. They don't know nothing about me. And this is what I had to explain to her again. I said, ma'am, let me tell you something. I know nothing about you. All I know when I met you during the time that my case was going, I know your name. I know you was a social worker, and I know where you stayed. That's all I knew about you. I said, and I could count on one hand how many times I talked to you. I said, and the reason being is because you always told me when we would talk that I wasn't the victim, that my kids was, that I need to quit trying to act like I was the victim. So
Right.
therefore, why would I want to talk to you if you're telling me that all the time?
Mhm.
And then if I did try to reach out to you,
Mhm.
I'm always getting told something. But then she gonna say, well, if you had my number all this time, then why you didn't? Ma'am, first off, your number might have still been the same all these years, but if my number changed, and we never talked it like that anyway,
Mhm.
why would I reach out to you? So yet, to me, you still trying to make it seem like it's me, 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 me. But what I want to know with my son was, I just wanted to know how my baby was doing. Is my baby gonna be okay? I wanted to know everything there was to know, but I couldn't know nothing because I gotta listen to the past being brought up. Then I gotta pretty much let you know you can't get me like y'all got me back then
It's
because
very
I know
sad.
more. Yeah, I
It's
know
very
more
sad.
now than
Mhm.
I knew then. I know more now than I knew then. And in the fight, when I tell you Nancy is the truth, you better get on it because Nancy is the truth. Nancy put me on to so much. I it's unbelievable. It really is. And it is human trafficking. It really is. And
It's
it's sad to say that.
child trafficking, not
Yeah.
child
Child
trafficking.
trafficking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You selling my child to the highest bidder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the highest bidder.
Yeah.
It's called child trafficking. The thing about it
Yes.
is also what people don't understand. There's the what's his name, Ramirez? Was it that little boy that died? There was like a documentary on him in Netflix on Netflix.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
The little kid that died, the mother and the boyfriend beat him to death or something like that, and the family and people were reporting it to CPS, and nobody wanted to do anything about it. So let me tell you why.
Exactly.
I want to educate the public right now. The reason
Mm-hmm.
CPS allowed the abuse to happen from the mom and the boyfriend is not, how can I say it? It's a strategy. Demons also
Mm-hmm.
have strategy. Just
Oh
remember,
yeah.
listen to what I'm about to say. The
Okay.
reason they allowed that to happen from the mom, right,
Mm-hmm.
is because they knew the child is going to die from his mother and her boyfriend. Wait,
Oh,
but what they want people to think, right? Oh, we need CPS because had CPS taken the child, it would be safer. Blah 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 blah. But what
yeah.
does the social workers do? They make excuses as to blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
So now,
Mm-hmm.
because of that case, now they're making now. They say, oh, now we'll take it all the children, domestic violence, all the children, all the children. But this is just a setup.
Mm-hmm.
Use that as a way to put in place, right? To now
Uh-huh.
go after the healthy children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They knew the child was being abused. Listen to me
Right.
carefully. They knew the child was being abused, but they allowed it to happen. So that way they have a new rule in place and they take all children when there's a domestic violence case or when a neighbor makes allegations, when a mother-in-law makes allegations, when an ex-husband makes allegations. Now they say, oh yeah, we don't want to repeat that, so let's take all the children. I hope I'm making sense to you guys.
No,
But
you make perfectly
yeah,
sense. That's
it's
like, okay, remember that if you ever know the
demonic
case,
strategy. Remember, demons have
yeah,
strategies.
they
Demons
do.
have
Remember the case
strategies.
with the two women? Okay,
Right,
so you remember the two women that got the six black children.
right,
Okay, y'all took them from the mother, but the aunt had them, and the aunt got a bigger house, so the aunt can keep them.
right,
This is why I feel like they be going so wrong, especially towards the family.
right.
Y'all don't want to give them to the family, and y'all don't want to call the family, and y'all don't want family to be able to get them because you feel like if the family get them, that they will still be able to be around the person that you don't want them to.
Exactly.
So that's why y'all put them kids' life in way more danger than what it was. Y'all took them from the mom, and then the aunt got them, but y'all also took them from the aunt because the aunt had to go to work and she let the mom watch them. Y'all took them.
Mhm.
So these kids has been, you could tell they was being abused. One of
Yes,
the one of the oldest girls jumped out what a I think it was two stories. She jumped out a two stories window. The little boy would be asking for food all the time. Now they was with two women. They were lesbians, and it made news. And guess what? They end up killing themselves and the kids. So y'all did all that, and then what make it so bad? CPS will be called to do a welfare check, to come out when somebody have called and reported and said that
right.
things look weird.
Mhm.
They was pulling up one day and the couple was pulling up and they went into the garage. CPS got out, knocked on the door. Nobody came to the door,
Mhm.
but CPS left. They went on by their business. Now this couple did that 3 times and CPS just went on by their business. Didn't check, didn't go into further detail, nothing. You just left and went on.
Mhm.
And now look at the kids.
Mhm.
They killed them and themselves.
There you go. I mean, this
Just
is
to keep them.
there's actually
Exactly.
social workers who get reported 11 times. A foster parent, and the mother reported the foster parent that they're abusing their daughter until 11 times to the social worker. They told her that she cannot make any more reports. Guess what? The foster mother beat the 5-year-old to death. Beat her to death.
Wow.
That's what gets me. But yet they want to keep the mothers hostage in their own sorrow, in their own freaking sorrow.
And you can be called on, and I will tell you this. People can call on, and this is for the outsiders looking in that don't understand. People can call on you for the pettiest thing, for the smallest thing. I know a person that got called on because why? Baby had a diaper rash and she put diaper rash cream on the baby, and that's what's supposed to go on them. But the reason why they was called is because why? She got into it with another female. They got in an argument, and that person and that female called. So see, people can call on you from the smallest things. To me,
but also,
I just like.
Let me share something that came to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, ex-mother-in-laws are assholes. Let me tell you why. What they do, they enable their son, right? Because that's what they do. They enable their narcissistic son, right? So
Yes,
a
ma'am.
mother-in-law will take a child, for example, if the father and mother are fighting for custody, right? The mother-in-law, what she does is she takes the baby, right, with diapers, leaves the diaper on the baby until the baby gets a diaper rash. It's so bad. And then when the baby's returned to the mom, then they call the social workers and say the mom is neglecting the child. Then the social worker goes, looks at the baby the way they came back after 5-day visit with the grandma and daddy, and say the mother is the one doing this, right? Like what the? Think about it. This is real case, by the way, real.
A real case, and it's like this. They get called, and this is to me. They get called to come out there. Anytime CPS get called is what you understand. It don't matter how many times they get called, however many times they get called, they do have to come out and do the investigation. And to me, to be honest,
they're
I
not
feel
doing
like
investigation.
they not. And I say this exactly. And you're right, Miss G. This is what I say, and I say this because whatever they're coming out there to investigate, to me, they don't investigate. They come out there and they make up what they want to, and that's where the case begins. That's just how I feel about it.
It's just a show, babe. It's just a show. They know that's their show. I was there. They're so dumb. Like, I just look at them, I'm like, you're so freaking stupid. Like, when did you graduate high school, you idiot? Like, when? The mother would show proof that the child has been with the grandma and their dad for 5 days. And even though, if the mother did take the child like that, think about it. Why wouldn't the dad or the grandmother say something about it from the beginning? Why wouldn't you take the child back to their mom, then you report her to the Department of Child Piece of Shit Services? That's exactly what they do. Mother-in-laws, if you are listening, I don't care who you are, but shame on you if you have that darkness inside your heart and you do that maliciously just to enable your son. This is the reason why your son is an idiot. This is the reason why your son is a sociopath, because you enabled it for years.
Or just the ones that's out there that's doing it, period. I feel like they just like CPS. CPS, I feel like they just wake up and decide, let me go find who life I'm going to destroy today. Let's go find who kids we could take today. And it's sad because it's kids actually out there that does need help. But y'all so busy targeting the kids that don't need to be taken away or don't need the help. It's life. Stuff happens. I mean, let me pick myself back up and get on my feet. That's why I said, you're right. If you don't know certain people, it's like you don't exist. You don't matter. And then it's also like if you don't have, I don't got a lot of money like you. I haven't been to college like you. I don't got a big house like you and got a white picket fence.
They didn't go to college, baby.
Exactly.
A lot of them barely passed high school. A lot of them took a couple of classes online. A lot of people say, oh, they have to have this and this. No, they don't. Any idiot, right? Like a monitor, for example, monitors. People think monitors actually report the truth. They don't. They don't report the freaking truth. They lie. Don't. And they side with the paying parent.
Yes, ma'am.
The parent that pays them, they side with them, especially if that parent, his wife is a judge or a district attorney, or the dad is a firefighter, etc., etc.
If they got money. And if it's two parents that don't have money,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
two parents that don't have
yeah.
money, oh
That's
y'all
right.
screwed because
Yep,
they try to make y'all go against each other. They try
yep,
to make. When did y'all become the relationship coaches?
yep, yep,
You in my life for the kids,
yep,
but now it's, oh, you can't date this person or
yep.
you can't. What does this person have anything to do with anything? And then
Exactly.
not to mention the fathers of the kids that right you took my rights away, but you didn't take the father's rights away.
There you
So
go. Again,
exactly
again, again. The
right.
mother is
So
always the problem. In their eyes, the mother is always a problem. But they don't. If
exactly.
they really investigate, if they really truly investigate, they
Mm-hmm.
would find the truth. But why do I call them stupid? Stupid. I call them stupid because the definition of stupid is what? Having evidence of the truth, looking at the truth,
Right.
hearing the
You
truth, but
right.
you still believe a freaking lie. A freaking
Right.
lie. You believe a lie, so that makes you a stupid and idiotic individual, even if you have a Harvard degree. I don't give a shit about your Harvard degree. Do your damn job. Do your freaking
Not
job.
doing that job. And
You're
if
not.
it was
You're
one
not.
person
You're not.
that can actually, I just wish it was somebody that decided that they want to make. I just wish it was somebody there that just decide out here that
Yeah.
just decided, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna go in. We're gonna go in and we're gonna start looking back into
Right.
all these
Wait.
cases that was open. And if they
Exactly.
start looking into all these cases that was open, I'm pretty sure they're gonna find fraudulent
Who's
paperwork.
all
People
fraudulent?
got
All of them.
exactly,
All of them. But ladies, I want
exactly.
to read this. This is
Fraudulent paperwork,
yeah.
fraudulent
We're gonna
paperwork.
have to, but babe. We have to
Exactly.
end the show.
Forged signatures. They'll find other people cases mixed with other people cases. It'll be a lot. It
Right.
will be a lot
Okay. So we
because
went
it's
overtime. We went
okay.
overtime. We went
Okay.
actually 30 minutes overtime. So
Oh wow. Okay.
I want to read something Samantha wrote. Samantha wrote,
Okay.
"My ex is an alcoholic because his parents. Oh my God, an alcoholic because his parents bought him alcohol at age of 12. See, I was just talking about that. Smoked
Mhm.
cigarettes and weed at age 12. But she can raise my son. My son acts so bad. His behavior towards me is so badly because of the grandmother, and nobody believes me. I need, without any interruption, I need to speak on this.
Go ahead.
There's a firefighter that I talk about on a lot of my shows. Okay.
Mhm.
And the woman that he was married to had two children with him.
Mhm.
Then he already set it up to fail from the beginning because all he wanted was kids so he can be with this other woman who's a district attorney. He knew that he's going to marry this district attorney woman because she used to work with his mother in a law firm. Okay.
Mhm.
She's older than him, but
Mhm.
he already calculated it in his mind. So his
Mhm.
aunt works for the Department of Child Services. All right.
Okay.
So what
Mhm.
happened was the mother was clueless. What's going on?
Mhm.
He was abusive
Mhm.
towards her. Then the mother, when the grandmother took the children, right, she would not
Mhm.
change their diapers. They would come back with diaper rash. She would actually train the children to be mean to their mom, right? And
Mhm.
the same thing happened to him when he was younger. His dad introduced him to alcohol, right? His dad
Right.
introduced him to weed,
Mm.
right? And his mother
Mhm.
knew about it. So the
Right.
point I'm trying to make here, Samantha, is that usually the enablers, men like that who are sociopathic,
Mhm.
narcissistic, idiots, are usually enabled by the mom. The
Mhm.
mother, instead of teaching them right, they
Right.
end up enabling them, meaning if they get into trouble, they are there to rescue them. His
Right.
mother is an attorney, so she actually rescued him from a lot of things. He's a firefighter, but guess what? There was arson and theft on his record, and he still became a
Mhm.
firefighter. Why? Let me finish.
Exactly.
Because his mother dated the head of the fire department to get him there. His
Yep.
mother knew the person that was in charge to get him there. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, there's so much involved. It's not who you are as a human being and as a person and as a parent, it's who you know that can
Yep.
fuck everybody up. Okay?
Mhm.
That's exactly how it is. in the system that is so broken and so twisted. So what do? They side with the sociopathic, narcissistic individuals because they are the same traits as they are. So
Oh
when
yeah.
you're a demon, you're not going to break a house of demons, because if you break a house of demons, it's not going to stand. Okay, it's not going to stand, right? So you can't go against a demon. Demon cannot go against demons. So they go against who? The victims. That's
Yep.
exactly what they do. So Samantha, you have my contact information. Please, you can text me first. Like, you guys, when you read my contact number, that's my personal cell. All right.
Okay.
So when you
Okay.
call me, don't call me because I'm not going to answer the phone. I don't know who's calling me. If I'm on a call, which I am on a calls at all times, all day long, I work long hours. One
I
of our
believe.
my followers, Carissa, can tell you guys this. I work long hours from 6 a.m. until 10:30 at night. So please be mindful and don't
Mm-hmm.
just call and expect me to know who you are. Always text me
Okay.
your first name, last name. Let me know what type of case you want me to call you about. Period.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Okay.
So I love you guys. I am going to do the show tonight also at 7 p.m. for relatives
Okay.
fight CPS. And
Okay.
God bless you all. I'm sorry I took so long today,
No,
but
you fine.
it was great. What you shared with me
Thank you.
today was great. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you, baby girl. And you also
You
can text
welcome.
me if you ever need me to call you. Okay.
Will. Thank you.
All right. God bless you, sweetheart. All
God
right.
bless you too.
Have a good night, baby.